Hey guys, this is Makanor, and one of my subscribers shared me a file called the Codex Lupus, which is a modified or revised Therian Bible. And if you've seen my previous video criticizing the Therian Bible, then you will find that I find it very cultish and somewhat disturbing in its language. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Codex Lupus and what my thoughts are about it. So far, the Therian truths in the Codex Lupus seem more reasonable and fair than the Therian Bible. The three Therian truths are this. 1. All things are tied to one another in nature. Everything and everyone shares a common bond through the natural world. We all live and we will all one day die, returning to the earth. This means we will sow, what we sow will inevitably one day be reaped. 2. The nature of our existence is not fully understood. No Therian, no matter how knowledgeable, can claim to know the truth of how or why we came to be. We simply are. We should endeavor to enrich the world with the time given to us. 3. Everyone has the capacity to have the gift. Being a Therian is a matter of birth and choice. A Therian can be born by his or her choice to follow the path offered to them. A person who chooses this path cannot have done so without being born with the gift. That means only an individual himself can establish whether they're a Therian or not. Now, as far as my thoughts and criticisms on the Therian truths, I think that the first Therian truth, that all things are tied to one another in nature, it's a pretty fairly accurate, mature truth that I definitely can agree with. And I do definitely agree that our actions will eventually come back to us. Like, everything that we do put into this world will come back to us and will affect us in one way or another. And I do agree with the second truth, that the nature of an otherkin's existence is not fully understood. And I do think that it's fair to say that no otherkin can really say for sure what the origin is of it. Whether it's like of, some people believe it's of spiritual origin, some people believe it's of psychological origin, some people believe being otherkin or Therians of symbolical origin. And I think a lot of people in the otherkin community can pretty much agree that the origins of otherkin and why otherkin are the way they are is a pretty fairly unexplored thing, and it's pretty much still unknown territory. There hasn't been any research, there hasn't been any studies, so no one can say for sure or for fact that there's this way and that we are the way we are because of this or that. The third Therian truth, I'm kind of blurred about it because for the first part, it says that being a Therian is a matter of birth and choice. Despite the fact that the third Therian truth says everyone has the capacity for the gift to have the gift, it then follows up and says it's a matter of birth and choice. So, if it's for everyone, then why does it have to be a matter of birth? That to me contradicts itself. But I can agree with the last message of the truth itself, that it says that means only an individual themselves can establish if they're a Therian or not. And I do definitely agree with that. One, I believe that everyone's otherkin experiences or Therian experiences are different. So how you perceive yourself is up to you. You can perceive yourself to be Therian, you can perceive yourself to be otherkin, you can perceive yourself not to be. It's up to you. No one else can impose their own standards upon you. To me, as long as you fit the core concept of what being otherkin or what being Therian is, then it is fully up to you on how you perceive yourself. Now, I do think so far, based off of these Therian truths that I've just read from the Codex Lupus, it definitely has a more mature, wise vibe going to it, rather than the cultish vibe that I've definitely encountered in the Therian Bible. As far as going through it, I'm going to be going through page by page. It says the first truth must be understood before moving on to the second truth, and the second before the third. Now, I kind of agree with that, and I kind of just feel like, it isn't more about accepting one before moving to the other. I feel like all the truths are gradually just connected together, and the more that you learn, or the more that you explore each truth, the more connected you will learn, the more connected you feel they all are. Let's see. To understand the first truth is to understand the nature of the universe. For every action, you will cause a reaction. This is the physical and natural law. To see its truth, one must simply see the state of the world today and understand the power we have to impact it. I do like this message that we have the power to impact it, and I definitely fully believe that, and that's why I do personally want to involve myself in more active efforts to and save the environment, to also fix communities in other countries and things like that, because I feel like a lot of people aren't doing enough. A lot of people feel like they're powerless in the world as it is today. And I do definitely empathize with the Codex Lupus, or the Codex Noctis, as it says, on this, that we do have the power to impact the world. Once you understand that you are part of this world and therefore understand you have the power to change it, you must move on to the second truth and unburden your thoughts. Which is fair. The second part says, we do not claim divine right to be what we are, nor do we claim superiority over the natural world, humanity included, due to our condition. We do not endeavor to be tied down by the nature of our existence and will make the most of life given to us. This is the basis of the second truth, to always look to the future while understanding humility. I really do empathize. I really do connect to this point as well, because I do feel in the otherkin community there are a lot of people that feel that they're superior that they're superior to non-otherkin people in some way. And I do feel that there's also a lot of people in the otherkin community that feel that they're somewhat inferior or lesser than non-otherkin people in some type of way. And I feel like this is a valid point, that we shouldn't be too caught up in our own condition of being otherkin. We shouldn't be caught up in that. We shouldn't be contemplating our viewing ourselves as inferior or superior. And I feel like we should just simply focus on the state of being. And I do really like the fact that this Codex Noctis, as it says, it teaches, or it's definitely talking about humility and understanding humility. Okay, the final step is to become self-reliant. The third truth speaks of the gift. The gift is the fact that you are a Therian and are able to see the world from a different perspective. The gift can never be forced upon you, only accept it. We all have a choice of who we wish to become. I love this part. I really love the way it explains the third truth. I have always preached in my videos that being otherkin is a matter of seeing and experiencing the world from a different perspective. And I really love that this has really touched on that point, because I feel like a lot of people see being otherkin or see being Therian as this negative thing that is a bad that affects one's life badly. And I don't see it that way. I see it as a new way to experience the world, a new way to interpret things, a new way to simply discover. And I think that's a very optimistic way of viewing it. I prefer to view it in an optimistic way. Okay. Also, it has a Therian code. 1. You are as much human as you have ever been. Being Therian does not mean you are any less of a human than you were before. You are not superior to either humans or animals that roam this earth. Know humility and be wary of arrogance. Like I mentioned earlier, there are otherkin that do feel that they're superior. There are otherkin that do feel that they are not human. There are otherkin that feel that they're inferior. And I definitely disagree on a lot of that. I do feel like we're not superior to people. I do feel that we're not inferior to non-otherkin people. And I do feel that accepting the fact that you are human, accepting both sides of yourself, is a key to basically being happy as otherkin. 2. Respect Mother Earth. All living things deserve the right to live. Do not partake in rampant destruction of the environment. We need nature to survive. Nature does not need us. And I also love this point, because I always personally view things as, what if humanity didn't have technology? What if we didn't have all this stuff? And so for that, I tend to be more nature oriented in my mindset. I tend to be more nature oriented in my decisions. I try to make decisions based on whether something is practical in the sense of survival, practical in the sense of being completely out in nature and immersed in nature. I definitely do believe that we need to take more cautious actions on how we affect things, on how we interact with our environment. And I do feel like if more people took that step, we would be in a better place. 3, make the best of the time given to you. The time you have on this world is precious. Make it count. Do not live half a life, but endeavor to make the most of your existence while enriching others along the way. I do definitely feel for this one as well. I definitely feel like with a lot of otherkin, there's this sense of self-loathing. There's this sense in a lot of otherkin, especially younger otherkin, of wanting to do things, but not having enough time, not having enough resources, not having enough money. And I feel like that sense of loathing and that sense of restlessness our inability to do things, it definitely does negatively impact you in the future because you feel as if you wasted time. And I feel like, in a personal sense, that I feel like I have wasted some of my own time because there's a lot of things that I could have done as when I was younger, and I wish I did do when I was younger, but I hadn't. I just didn't take it. So I just feel like this is definitely true that you do have to make the best of time. It doesn't matter if you don't have enough money to travel the world. You don't have to travel all over North America. You don't have to splurge $1,000. It could just simply mean going to the park. It could simply mean going to a local creek or hanging out by a river or going somewhere. Just simply going out. Just simply living. Just being there. It doesn't mean making reckless and bad choices, but it means simply enriching your own life. 4. Respect the nature of freedom. Freedom takes many forms. Do not participate in the unjust destruction of one's freedom, lest you become captive of your actions. I do agree with this one, though. I do agree with this one that everyone's freedom should be respected. Everyone's own opinions and ideas and ideals must be respected as long as it isn't harming someone else, as long as it infringing on someone else's freedoms and state of being. Then all people's perspectives should be respected, or at least not tampered with. 5. Do not exclude yourself from living. Do not exclude yourself from family and friends due to what you are. Do not let your dreams die because of a revelation. You are all you have ever been, and the only one who sets themselves boundaries is you. I also agree with that one. I feel like with a good bit of otherkin, they feel like they can't connect with friends and family as much because they're otherkin, and I feel like definitely the line that rings true is you are all you have ever been, and the only one who sets themselves boundaries is you. I definitely agree with that. A lot of otherkin feel like since they are otherkin that they can't connect with people that are non-otherkin on the same level anymore, and I feel like you've been you. Like if otherkin is a matter of just simply being, then you've been the person you are ever since you were born, you know? The connection you have with people that hasn't changed since knowing your otherkin. And that shouldn't stop you from making bonds with non-otherkin people or otherkin people. It should just simply be a state of being. Um, these these 5 simple commandments are meant to keep you on the right path. For if Therian does not waste time attempting to be superior to any being, their focus is on self-improvement. Their focus for self-improvement is wholly their own reflection. For Ethereum recognizes their place in the world and the importance of the ground they are blessed to walk upon. For Ethereum recognizes why to be truly alive, they know that all things are fleeting, and that when their time comes to an end, the only measure of success is the legacy they leave for others to aspire to. For Ethereum knows that there are many paths to follow, it is right, and that it is so. For to build barriers is ultimately at the cost of the architect himself. For Ethereum knows life is precious and should be spent living. I just love this. I love this. It feels so mature and so wise as compared to the Therian Bible and the crap that it was in there. The crap that was in the Therian Bible just came off as really cultish and is really far-fetched and isolated in a sense. It was very divisive. And I feel like with the Codex Noctis, it's very opening. It's very friendly. It's more of the best way to describe it is like a grandpa kind of just sitting you down and giving you nice advice about life. Just simply talking to you. Just calmly talking to you, calmly answering your questions, just giving you advice on how to live. They're not enforcing anything upon you. They're just simply giving you tips and just giving you advice. Just like, okay, here's how you do it. Here's how you go throughout life. Just take things as they are. You're free to make your own decisions, you're free to make your own mistakes, but this is just my tips. And I like that about this. I like that about the Codex Noctis. Let me see. Chapter 3. Therians in the Human World. By human world, we refer to mankind's civilization that spans the globe, which we are all a part of. Many Therians feel like outsiders, or as if they do not belong in human society. They will seek solace in nature or the animal kingdom to find peace and understanding. But this is only a temporary respite. For to become a true Therian, one must accept both aspects of their life. Just as there's no running from your Therian side, there's no escaping your humanity. To keep to the first rule of your code and make sure your two halves are not locked in conflict. Respect man-made laws of the land and do not break with them unless you are willing to accept their consequences. You are not above the law of the land. Trust thy friend, but not the mask of society. I love this. I really do. It's hard to come to words to describe this. In like a lot of my videos, I try to make sure I'm very eloquent. But in this video, I'm not going to edit out any of that. But I feel like I do love this Codex Noctis because it's preaching some truths here. It's preaching some truths. A lot of otherkin try to reject one side of themselves or the other. They try to either reject the otherkin side of themselves or the non-human side of themselves or reject the human side of themselves. And I feel like that is not healthy. That's not healthy for your mind, that's not healthy for your soul, that's not healthy for your body. Being otherkin is just simply having a different set of eyes to view the world, to experience the world. And it means accepting both halves of yourself. You're not two distinct things, you're one being. Also, a lot of people feel like they're above the law, so I also agree with that. No one's above the law. You shouldn't physically assault or harm another human being or another animal or any other being for no distinct reason. Unless you feel your life is in danger and it's self-defense or something like that, I just don't feel like anyone should be breaking the law just to break the law. Let me see. Secrecy is an unwelcome necessity, but not a requirement. Your belief will not be accepted by the majority of people, but one should never have to wear a mask for the benefit of their friends. Any true bond of brotherhood or friendship to exist, there must be honesty. I definitely agree with that. A lot of otherkin have friends that do not know about their otherkin condition or their otherkin it's just them simply being otherkin. I don't want to say condition because it sounds like it's like a mental thing, like it's like a mental illness or something like that, but it's not. Um a lot of otherkin have friends that don't know that they're otherkin. And I feel like if they're true friends, they shouldn't have this sense of negativity towards you. There shouldn't be this sense of negative judgment or criticism against you for being otherkin. A true friend will simply take you as you are, and that is just as it is. I've had a lot of non-otherkin friends that were completely aware of me being otherkin, and there was no negative criticism, there was no negative judgment, there was no negative impact on our connections and our friendships. In fact, I think it strengthened it because I could be myself. And I don't mean like walking around licking them or anything like that. But I could be myself on the way I view things and the way I perceive the world. And I didn't have to worry about being viewed as weird or outlandish in the way I think. And with them, it was a more fluid friendship because of that openness and that honesty there. So I definitely believe that you shouldn't have to wear a mask around your friends. You shouldn't have to wear a mask around those close to you. You shouldn't have to wear a mask around your loved ones or your family. If you if you are what you are, they should accept you as that. And if they don't accept you, then just keep it moving. It may be painful to be rejected for what you are, but at the end of the day, if they don't accept you, you will come across people that will accept you. Chapter 4, Discovering Yourself Anew. You accepted the three Therian truths and adopted the code as your own. Now it's time to rediscover your true self. For any Therian, this is the most difficult hurdle to come across, for it will define their nature and the path that they are on for years to come. Kin types are the spirit animals you possess. They can take the shape of animals still living or those long extinct, as well as mythological creatures and beings not easily identified. And this is what the Codex Noctis says. So anyone bashing me for talking about the kin type definition, this is what the Codex Noctis says, not me. Not me. It is perhaps misleading to call it an animal spirit at all, but rather the true nature of one's soul. It is affected as much by birth as by the choices one makes, for the spirit is energy. It is thought, emotions, fears, hopes, and dreams made real. It is the avatar of your inner reflection made manifest within you. You are it, and it is you. There is no separation between the two. This leads us back to the third Therian truth. For all are welcome, for all have the freedom of choice and the right to choose their own path. In order to gain the knowledge of understanding your inner soul, keep the second and third Therian truth. No Therian or otherkin can know the true workings of our existence and impose it upon another. It is left for each of us to find our own place of belonging. So beware people who try to dominate you with their own view on the nature of the soul. I definitely feel this is true because if you've seen a good bit of my videos, you know that I do not like cynical elitist in the otherkin community and how they push this standard upon people. And I think this definitely speaks to me because I definitely feel like we all come to our own paths in the otherkin community. We all experience our own path. We all have our own perceptions of being otherkin. We all have our own distinct otherkin identities. And so for one to push their own path upon others, for one to push their own standard upon others, it is definitely wrong. That's how I feel about it. It's wrong. Only you have the power to make a choice as to who and what you are. In this, be neither ignorant nor fearful. The choice is always in your hands. Other can lend you help, but the final step to take is always up to you. I definitely agree with this because as much as you can get all the advice from everybody in the otherkin community, but nobody in the otherkin community can tell you for a fact what you are. They cannot tell you who you are. They cannot tell you how to work, how to experience life. They cannot tell you how these things work for you. The only thing you can do is just simply take the advice and simply reflect on it and then reflect on yourself. Now, to end this pretty much 23-minute long video, which I am pretty thankful if you have stuck around to watch the whole 23 minutes, I think that this Codex Noctis or Codex Lupus, I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah, it's called the Codex Lupus, but the file says Codex Noctis. But I think that this is just an amazing file. This is an amazing revision of the Therian Bible. If this was pretty much out, if this was pretty much out as a legit thing, I'd probably get, I'd probably I'd probably get behind this. I'd probably get behind this, whoever wrote this thing. I definitely want to be friends with them. I definitely want to share some ideas with the person that definitely made this revision of the Therian Bible. Because this person seems more mature and wise and definitely knowledgeable than the other person that wrote the Therian Bible. That's just my thoughts in this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Also, check out the referral link for Swagbucks. If you have nothing to do this summer and you're trying to make some extra, you're trying to make an extra $1 or $2, you're trying to earn some little gift cards, Swagbucks is the site to do it. Bye.